everyone, I'm Jagan and in this science video from Jagan's channel, I'm going to be explaining the respiratory system, as you can see here. So I'm going to give you a summary of what we're going to do today. We're going to follow inhaled air down from the nose to the lungs. So we're going to start at the nasal cavity, then go to the pharynx, where the larynx and epiglottis meet. We're going to talk about those, and then we're going to talk about the trachea, and then we're going to talk about how the trachea splits up into bronchi, and then lastly we're going to talk about the lungs and alveoli. And then we're going to talk about the accessory organs like the tongue and these three lines right here called the nasal meatus. And we're also going to talk about one accessory muscle. So now we're going to talk about the respiratory system now. The respiratory system is a vital system, a system that allows you to breathe in, breathe out. You do that a lot in your lifetime. So now we're going to start with the nasal cavity. So when you breathe air in, it's supposed to here, it goes into your nose, and there's a big space known as the nasal cavity. The nasal cavity is meant to filter the air. It humidifies, cools, and protects the air. More that you can say. So it has tiny hairs called cilia with mucus. Mucus is almost everywhere in your body. There's a lot of mucus. So let's say these were the tiny hairs. Sometimes you breathe in a desert, and then some dust particles and germs come into your nose. The cilia, with mucus attached to the cilia, well, the tiny hairs, trap dust and germs. And then the mucus that trapped it makes and solidifies, and then it makes a booger. So now we're gonna head on to the pharynx. The pharynx has three sections. The nasopharynx. The nasopharynx is right over here. The oropharynx, which is next to the oral cavity, which we're going to be talking about next after the pharynx, and then the laryngopharynx, which is right next to the larynx. All of those three layers have specific names. The nasopharynx, nasal cavity, nasopharynx, oropharynx, oral cavity, and laryngopharynx, larynx. So those sections have a name of which organ or section they are next to. Now we're going to talk about the oral cavity, as I mentioned when we were doing the oropharynx. The oral cavity, like your tongue and hard palate and soft palate, also humidify and filter the air. Germs get caught on your tonsils, which are also accessory organs, but we're going to talk about that later. Now we're going to talk about the larynx and epiglottis. The larynx is a box-like organ that houses the vocal cords. Every time you talk, sing, and express your voice, then if you shout or talk normally, you can feel your vocal cords wiggling right around here. This is your larynx. It's not visible in women, but in men, it is easily visible from the outside. So the larynx is a box-like organ that holds the vocal cords. Air passes through the larynx. Now we're gonna talk about the epiglottis. It's kind of over here. So the epiglottis is kind of like a little flap that makes sure. So pretend this was the epiglottis, this was the trachea, and on the other side it was the esophagus, which we're going to talk about in our digestive system video. But if air comes, then the epiglottis will close to this side, because this side is the esophagus, so it will close and then it will let air go in the trachea. But if food passes by the pharynx, it will close the trachea. That way you don't result in choking. And let's move down the esophagus. Now, after that, we have the trachea, the windpipe. So the windpipe is a big tube. And just to note, the esophagus is posterior to your windpipe. Posterior means back, towards the back. So the trachea is a big tube that leads air to your lungs. Basically the bronchioles, which we're going to talk about next in the meanwhile. The trachea, say this was the air, my fellow pointer right here. It goes down and then the air and the trachea splits into two. Those two right over here are called the primary bronchioles. Primary bronchi. Then we have the secondary bronchi. Then we have the bronchioles, which lead to the alveolar sacs. Then the alveoli. Now we're going to talk about the lungs. Actually, we're going to talk about the alveoli first. The alveoli are sacs, big grape-like sacs that are at the end of the bronchi. The alveoli stay there until the air comes in the alveoli. Capillaries from the heart's blood vessels, the pulmonary artery and the pulmonary vein, take the air from the alveoli sacs to the heart. And then there goes circulation. And at the same time, here's what alveoli does. Alveoli does to carbon dioxide, which flows from the blood vessels of the capillaries to the alveoli, and then all the way up the bronchi to trachea via exhalation. That's why we have the mouth open here. So now we're going to talk about the lungs. The most easily, if someone says like, what is the respiratory system? To a 6-year-old, then he would immediately say maybe the lungs. The lungs are the most easily recognized organs for the respiratory tract. So the lungs are right about here at your chest. And so the lungs house the secondary bronchi, part of the first bronchi, the primary bronchi, the bronchioles, the alveoli, and the alveolar sacs. So they house all of that in lungs. The left lung is shorter than the right lung. Actually, the left lung, yeah, this is the left lung. The left lung is bigger than the right. Because, remember when I told you in the heart science video that when you look at the back, this is will. So never mind, I don't need to explain that. So this is the left, this is the right. The left is bigger than the right because the lungs have few differences and similarities. They have flexures. Actually, so I made a mistake in my drawing. I did the lungs the same size, but this lung was supposed to be bigger than this one because this lung has more lobes than this one. Because here's the superior lobe, the upper lobe, and then there's the fissure, middle lobe, fissure, inferior lobe. And if you were to talk English, upper lobe, middle lobe, lower lobe. And for the left lung, it only has two fissures. The superior, it only has one fissure but two lobes. In the meanwhile, the right lung has three lobes and two fissures. But the left lung has only the superior lobe and the inferior lobe. So that is one difference between the lungs. But the similarity is that they both hold the primary bronchi and all these bronchioles and alveolar sacs. Now we're going to talk about the accessory structures. We'll start over here in the nasal cavity. So these three lines right here, you'll be wondering, these are the nasal meatus. The nasal meatus. But there are also circle-like formations at the same spot at the meatus. Those are called the nasal conchae. Yeah, those are two accessory structures. And then the next accessory structure is the tongue. The tongue. The tongue over here, as you can see, it's basically like a muscle organ. I'm gonna make a video about the tongue. The tongue is a muscle organ and it helps in taste and communication. Like every time you speak, your tongue moves. It can be hard to speak without your tongue. And then what if you could not taste your favorite food? So now, we're going to talk about the paranasal sinuses. That's what I could mention. The cribriform plate over here. Now the hard palate and soft palate, finally. The hard palate, you can't see here, but it's basically at the top of the mouth. The soft palate right beneath it. And the uvula. The uvula. The uvula is part of the soft palate. You know when you say ah, it is shown and it wiggles. That uvula has a few functions. It stops when you vomit. It stops the vomit from going up the nose. And same with food. Let's see if there are more accessory structures here. Nope, that's all I want to talk about for accessories. Oh, there's one more. The eustachian tube. You can't see it here, but it's somewhere around the trachea. The eustachian tube comes from the ear. Now we're going to talk about the one accessory muscle I didn't mention, the diaphragm. The diaphragm causes you to get hiccups. You know why? When you breathe in, normally, maybe, when you breathe in, the diaphragm is in its normal position, then it goes up too much. That's why you get hiccups. So now, but the diaphragm helps in breathing. So when you breathe in normally, your diaphragm goes up a little, and then it goes back into its normal stance. There are also other accessory muscles I want to mention, like the pectoralis major muscles, which are over here and help you expand the chest more. And a few abdominal muscles, like the rectus abdominis muscle, to expand your abdomen. So, that's it. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to Jagan's channel, and I hope you have a happy learning time with science and the human body. Bye everyone. I'll see you next time.